Hope is not a strategy, right? You have to know that your students know what you've taught. You have to know that they know. And the only way for you to know that they know is for you to check. And you don't want to wait for a test 2 weeks later to finally determine who knows or who doesn't. Testing is not an end-of-unit experience. That's a mistake. Testing is an ongoing process. We must be testing every day, all the time. It doesn't have to take a lot of time. In most cases, the things I did with the fingers, thumbs up, thumbs down, correct or incorrect, all the stuff we may or may not get into today, those take seconds. But invest those seconds today so that you don't have to spend hours 2 weeks from now redoing and reteaching all the stuff that nobody ever got. Because we didn't take the time to figure out, were they with us, or do we just keep teaching because that was the most comfortable thing? Let's start with a fist to 5. Does anyone know what that is? A fist to 5. Okay, so it's also a signal technique. Fist, 5, and then of course there are numbers in between. Fist means I have no idea what this is, whatever the it is that we're talking about. The it could be the Constitution, the it could be what Joe Biden said yesterday, it could be anything, right? And then you have a 5, which means I'm a master. I have full clarity, I know exactly what it is. Okay? And then of course a 4 or 3 is almost a 5, but not quite a 5. A 2 or a 1 is probably closer to a fist. You are self-assessing about the topic that we are discussing, whatever that is. So when you walk into any given class and you've already prepared, and maybe you've doubly prepared, you have the capacity to do things that the Talmud just can't do. And if you haven't given them an idea of what you're going to do and what they have to do with it, you're just putting information out there and they are trying to drive in the dark in a foreign place. That's really a very useful metaphor. They have no idea, what does this information have to do with anything? Where does it fit? Even if you think it makes sense because it's in the text, it's in a story in your literature book, it's in a Gemara, it's in a Mishnah. Even so, they don't have the context, the framework. We need to set the stage for all learning that comes, and they need to know what they're going to be asked to do with it. Guy goes into the forest, and he sees bullseyes on multiple targets, on multiple trees, with an arrow squarely planted right in the center of each of those bullseyes. He said, unbelievable, there must be a marksman here that is unknown to the world. I got to find this person and bring him to the public knowledge. Everyone should know what a great marksman lives in this forest wherever we are. And he finally goes to some shack somewhere and he finds the marksman. And he says, how did you manage every single time to hit the bullseye without fail? And he said, very simply, and the answer, anyone? Looks like we got a few over here. Yes? He put the arrow in first, right? And he painted around it. Right? We can't be teaching like that. Right? The famous Yogi Berra once said, if you don't know where you'll go, any road will get you there. Right? If you don't know where you want to go, any road will get you there. If you don't know what you're after, you could say you had a great lesson, but did you meet your objective? How many times do we get off track? Do we get off course? We get very incongruent with what we were trying to do, but we sort of justify it because at the end of the day we were entertaining. We taught something. That every lesson can't just be open up your Chumash and let's learn some sukkim. Open up your science book and let's read about whatever. Photosynthesis. It doesn't matter. You have to know what you're trying to achieve, and content alone is not sufficient. It's not enough to say we're going to learn the next sugya. It's not enough to say we're going to read a story. What do you want them to be able to do with it? What's the goal of the story?